Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. We have another fusion card challenge up and live over on the blog. If you jump over to my blog, you'll see the link, and hop over to Instagram and you'll be able to follow along and hopefully you'll play along. So if you are new to the channel, you don't know, then the fusion card challenge is you have an inspiration sketch, you have an inspirational photo. You can either play with one or you can play with both. Fuse it together and play with both. That's what fusion card challenge is all about. So we've got an alt new stamp set here. It's called Everlasting Happiness, and there's lots of them. They're quite a decent size circle with the flowers on the outside of it. There is one large one which is humongous. The other thing that I'm going to play with is also alt new. It's the narrow brick stencil. We're going to do that with a little bit of texture paste. I couldn't find my embossing paste, so I need to get some more of that. And I'm just going to stamp the sentiment in here. You'll see on the back of this piece of cardstock, it is something I've stuffed up, so I reuse. That's just the way I am. So I've got the stamp here of, I can't think of what it's called. Which one is it? Which one is it? I don't know. It's an alt new. It's out of the same set. You'll see it here very, very shortly. I'm stamping these down with Memento Tuxedo Black. Celebrate life. Could not remember that to save myself. The card is over the other side of the room, which means I would have to pause, which you would never know the difference. But it's late in the night. Saying that, it's like 9 o'clock, but it's past my bedtime because, you know, I curl up in bed and I watch something or read something or do something. So I have a little bit of mint tape here, and I'm just putting that down the sticky side up, so then the stencil is going to stick to that. I haven't got any pixie spray on this, but it's going to work out beautifully. I am really going to trim this panel down. At this point I knew that I was going to have to trim it down, but I didn't know how far I was going to have to go. I trim it down a few times before I decide that I like the sizing that it is. So this is just the texture paste. So it dries, it's not translucent, it just dries like an opaque white, and it's nice. So I'm putting a little bit of it here and there. It's not a solid background. Hopefully you'll see when I lift up this stencil. I got a little bit of texture paste on my magnet. You will be able to see that it is very, very patchy. So we'll put that off to the side. Now I have cut these out because my battery died and I need to charge that. So here I am going to trim all this down. So instead of, saving you some time, I've trimmed those all off camera. I'm going to colour those with my Copics. There's it's not even my original, the end sizing. I'll still trim off a little bit more. I was so up in the air about this. I've just got some scratch piece of cardstock because I have trimmed it off. I just decided that I needed to, and the focus will sort itself out. There we go. I just needed to, because I'm doing it back to front. All right, I'm doing it back to front. Trim it out after you color it, but no. So my colors, I am keeping it relatively simple. There is a lot of white space left over in my flowers. This is your G43, as you can see there, and then I'm going to come in with my G20, and I'm going to go back and forth a couple of times with that. Just make sure I have the depth of color, because at the moment it is super light. So we'll go over that a couple of times. The flowers are going to be a very soft, shall I say, salmon color. It's a very, very soft color. And again, I go over them a couple of times. We're going to do a mixture of some E's and some YR Copic markers. So while I do that, now I have been a little bit AWOL lately, and I don't really want to talk about it too much, but there's still going to be a couple of videos, a couple of times that I'm going to miss some videos and uploading some videos, so just be patient with me. Unfortunately, we have had a death in the family. She was very, very old, but she was the end of an era. My grandmother's youngest sister has passed away, and probably for the last maybe 10 years, my life, especially on school holidays, has revolved around visiting her and visiting my grandmother as they were getting older, and making sure that my boys remembered her, because it's my grandmother. Like, we're all right, she was a good old age, but we have to sort of now have the service, we have to go through her stuff, and we have to finish off all those little final bits and pieces, and mostly it's my mum, but I am driving. So yeah, I will be heading away with my mum very shortly, so if you don't hear a couple of videos from me, I've got a couple of Paper Rose videos coming up, so they'll still be going. I think I've got 2 Paper Rose videos coming up, so they are all lined up. The May Uniquely Creative Kit video is done. It is still available as of the 8th of June. Today is the 8th of June. So that's still available, but you're going to see it a little bit later. But hopefully it will still give you some ideas of how to use your kits, how to use your pattern paper, how to just get in there and have some fun with it. Let's go back to this card, because, we don't want to talk about all these things all the time. We want nice, happy, cheerful things. So I am using, I say so a lot, don't I? I am using E11, YR20 and YR000 for my flowers. Now all of my flowers are going to be the same color. The smaller flowers are going to be a little bit darker, purely because I'm trying to, there's less space. So to define those a little bit different, because they look like they are a little bit of a different flower, I am simply going to have them a little bit darker. The centers of my flowers are going to be E13 and E11. So it's all the same sort of color tones. As I said, we're keeping it relatively simple. There's not a lot of color. Unfortunately, that does mean the cut is very, very light, and that can be a little bit hard to see. So hopefully the link, jump over to my blog, which is linked down below, which has more photos and links to the products and all that sort of thing, and you'll be able to hopefully get a little bit more idea of the color. So now I'm just going to finish off the centers. So I'm doing a little bit of stippling technique with my dark color, and I'm going to go back through and just give him a little bit more of that dark color, and all my centers are going to be same. So they're just that little bit darker, they're same sort of color, but just that little bit darker. So you can see it's a very, very soft color tones to this card today. I am going to trim out I wasn't sure what I was going to do when I originally set up for this card, but I'm going to trim out the little flowers that we've got on the other circle, because in the sketch, which I think I show you again a little bit later on, the sketch has sort of 2 circles, one underneath and one above. So with the flowers, it's going to give that illusion of that semicircle. That's going to be my other circle. So I think you're going to see it very, very shortly. There we go. You can see that circle that's tucked in is a little bit sped up, so it looks like my hands are just going normal speed, but I am a slow crafter. So we're going to trim that out, and you don't need to see that, so voila. So I'm just going to position that bigger flower, and I've just got a little bit of glue on the tips of a couple of the petals. and the leaves. So that is going to hold it onto that little textured panel that we've got, and then we'll put some little bit more glue. You know, I thought I probably should have like raised it up, this back panel again, but I don't. I like it. I just sort of think it probably would have been so much nicer, have a lot more dimension to it, and you'll be able to separate the two panels that little bit more if I'd raised it up with foam. And then we'd have quite a fair bit of dimension because I'm going to raise up, and that was my idea, because I'm going to raise up the top circle that has a sentiment in it. I sort of thought not to do it with that back panel, but it's super light, so I'm not sure whether that's the right. I like to tell you all these things because I don't dislike the card. I love the card. I'm just saying my mental thought is, you know, what if I'd done that, or what if I'd done that, or, you know, so it's giving you the ideas, and hopefully you'll make up your own opinion, of course, and, you know, you'll make your cards the way you like to make your cards. I am going to come back a little bit later on and put another foam dot on the little flowers down the very bottom, which is basically about, very shortly. It's soon. Pretty much at the end of our card, we've got some Stardust stickles coming in. I'm just doing a little bit of flick in the center of the flowers going outwards. I will have to do that again for one of the flowers because I'm going to stick my finger in it. But, you know, so this is where I'm going to put my little extra piece of foam for my leaf. I just thought he needed to have a little bit supported because he was pretty fragile, that he might come off. So that's it. That's the card. Yep, see, just saying, stuck my finger in it. But, you know, this is why we have more Stardust stickles. So that's my card. I hope you are well. Take care. I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye-bye.